Hi everyone, I'm Logan from FanAmp and I'm here with Alexandra from Off to the Races, and we're going to do a little introductory interview to kind of let our audience know who you are and get them excited about having you on board.
Great. Thanks, Logan. Thanks for having me.
So let's get started here. My first question is, what is Off to the Races and what was kind of your inspiration behind starting this?
Yeah, of course. Off to the Races is a new travel provider working in the Formula One space, and it's something that I started earlier this year to address kind of my own experience of going to Formula One races. I'm sure for any Formula One fan who's tried to obtain tickets, you know just how difficult it is to actually physically get to a race, whether it's buying the tickets, securing the accommodation, or figuring out your travel. With each circuit having their own ticketing systems, tickets going on sale at different times, price points being different across the races, it's really hard to navigate that space. And as a season ticketing pro, I've been to several Taylor Swift concerts, so I feel like I can say that. I just didn't understand how it could be so difficult for me. I can only imagine how it can be so difficult for other people who may not do this that often. So that was my first experience of the ticketing aspect. And then there's the in person experience. I would attend the races with my husband, but I'd get to the race and I'd look around and I'd look in the crowd, and I noticed that the only women that were typically there either with their partner or with their family. And I was a little bit confused because I wasn't really seeing this amazing online community of women and creators being translated into that real life experience. And so I was trying to figure out where's this disconnect, and maybe it was those pain points between difficulty to get tickets, and then also just kind of it's overwhelming to go to a major sporting event where there's 100,000 plus people, especially if it's in a city or a country you're unfamiliar with. So I did some research and I saw that there are excellent ticket and travel providers out there in the market already, but they typically only offer a ticket and a hotel package. And what I wanted to offer is something a little bit more elevated. Because for me, when I travel internationally to go for a special sporting event or special concert, I not only want to go to that event, but I also want to see the city itself. So amazing food, the arts and culture, maybe a little shopping. I thought, okay, how can we take this, wrap it all in a bow, and offer it to Formula One fans? And so that's where Off to the Races came about, to be able to provide a whole weekend where you buy one package, you show up, and everything's taken care of.
I think that's amazing, and I think that's such a brilliant idea because I went to a race by myself a couple years ago and I had no idea where to start for anything. Like, I was a lost puppy going around trying to.
Which race did you go to?
I went to Imola. I went in
Oh
2022.
my goodness.
Yes. So that one was amazing. Um, and it wasn't, I feel like it was one of the easier ones to kind of go for a first time race by yourself. It's pretty, like, I don't know, compact, I guess. Like, it wasn't crazy hard to get to. Fans weren't wild, like, but it definitely, I had no idea where to start. Like, if I had known about you, I would have booked right away. And also, I feel like I missed out on so many opportunities of seeing things around the area because I was so hyper focused on the race that I didn't really allow myself any time to do anything else.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I also wanted to found Off to the Races is, like I said, there are amazing ticket and travel providers out there. They do amazing things. But if you're really looking to join a group and maybe meet other people, or maybe you're a solo traveler and you want to meet other race fans, all of our activities are group oriented. So that means dinners, track, all the activities. You're meeting other fans. You're not alone. You get to kind of have a little posse, have a little bit of group, and that's what I really loved about on track. Seeing the groups that would come as fan clubs, I was like, okay, how do we emulate that energy? But you don't have to just be a Max stan or what have you. I'm like, we're a fan club of Formula One.
I love that. And I feel like that's way more common with female fans in the Formula One community. It's not about who you support, which teams you support. It's just about being a fan of the sport in general together. And I feel like you're kind of really highlighting that with everything that you're doing, which is really exciting to see because, like you were saying, there's not really a spot for that anywhere for women yet. It's growing for
Yeah.
sure, but slowly.
Absolutely. No, I think one of the things that really stood out to me when I was doing my research, as I mentioned, there's amazing other ticket providers out there that do great things, but no one is really kind of focusing their program about what women may want in their weekend experience. And I love the on the track experience. And as I said, I love doing the in the city hospitality, but there are those little sugar and spice moments that are fun to sprinkle into any girls' weekend where we add in a wellness element so that Saturday morning we do a Pilates or yoga class or a light stretch just to get the body moving. Because
Yeah.
I don't know for you, but for me, when I attend the race, at the end of the weekend, I am physically wrecked. I
Oh
didn't
yeah.
even participate. I'm not an athlete. Why am I in pain?
Yeah.
And so I remember I was speaking to another creator and they were explaining that going to a Formula One race is less like going to a sporting event and more like going to a music festival. And
Yeah.
that really stuck out with me. And so we have that little wellness moment just to get the body moving, get the little stretch going. And then my personal favorite on Sunday morning, we have our signature glam room because for me, when I'm going out with my girlfriends, the best part of going out is the getting ready, where you're trying on your outfits and touching up your makeup and doing your hair and just being ridiculous. And so I wanted to bring that energy to race day, where we're having a little brunch. We have stylists come in to do dry styling and braiding, do makeup touch ups, and just get really excited and hyped up before jumping on that bus and like going to the circuit. So
Wow.
really just setting the mood for the day.
You are speaking my language. That is that should be mandatory for anyone going to the race. Like just to
Yeah, I was
prep
like, I'm
yourself.
sorry, you don't have face jewels in the Paddock Club?
Yeah. Pardon? Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That sounds incredible. So I guess you kind of did already, but run me through what a typical race weekend would look like. Is it dependent on the location and the track and everything, or do you kind of try and find similar events for each race
Yeah,
weekend?
absolutely. So each weekend follows a similar cadence, but we do adapt it for the track. So, for example, in cities like Barcelona and Mexico City, since the track is closer to the city center, we can do more things in the city center. We do have a package for Silverstone where the core of the package takes place in London, and we only go to the race on Sunday. Just as you know, Silverstone is set a little bit further from major cities. Milton Keyes not exactly a hotbed for arts and culture yet. Um,
Yes.
yet. And so, but the general cadence of the weekend is you would arrive Friday midday, check into the hotel. Then we usually have our first activity that Friday afternoon, doing a cultural excursion. So, for example, in for the Dutch GP, we'll be based in Amsterdam. So once you arrive, we'll go straight to the Rijksmuseum and have a private guided tour of that museum. In Barcelona, we do a private guided tour of the Sagrada Familia. Then that Friday afternoon, we do a little welcome cocktail party. So, of course, in Barcelona, we had to do it on a roof. So, we'll do a rooftop cocktail party with views of the city and the Sagrada Familia. But I'm really particularly excited for the Dutch GP, where we'll be doing a cocktail canal cruise as the sun sets to learn a little bit more about the city and try some local wines and local delicacies. So that's your Friday night. Then Saturday morning, you wake up and we'll have our wellness moment. So that could be a light stretch, a yoga, a meditation, and breakfast as well before heading off to the track for qualification. So we'll go for quali, spend the day at the track, and our packages generally have a VIP hospitality ticket of some capacity, with the exception of Mexico City this year. And so that means you have access to a privatized space, you have access to all day open bar, all day hospitality, and really that elevated experience. I'm a little bit of a passenger princess, so needed that elevated experience. Then that night we'll come back to the hotel. You'll have a little bit of downtime before we head out to our more elevated formal dinner. So in each city, we try to select a really interesting restaurant, something new, or a Michelin star, Michelin recommended. So we have a few restaurants already on the docket. I'm really excited for them. Food is a big passion point for me. So really excited to bring people to these new restaurants. Then Sunday morning, wake up, breakfast, glam room, and then we head out to the race. Race day, same experience with those VIP tickets. Once the race concludes, we head back home. And then for me, at the end of a long race weekend, the last thing I want to do is find a food. So we'll have dinner, a more casual dinner at the hotel restaurant. And the next morning you wake up and you head home. And that's our weekend.
Wow, that sounds incredible. I'm sold. I need to sign up for one. That is quite the experience. And a race weekend itself on its own is already an experience, and you have just taken that to a whole new level that could only be done by a woman, to be honest. Like that is incredible. Yeah, wow. I'm so excited to see everything that you have upcoming
Thank
for
you.
this year.
My background is actually the way I kind of came about this. It's before I entered the exciting world of motorsport, I worked in the art world, and a big part of that, a big part of my role was managing VIP strategy and also donor engagement for major institutions throughout the United States. And so, what we would do was plan international and domestic trips for boards of trustees and other high level donors to really go experience artworks or go see artists that were in far flung locations. So really kind of taking that expertise and applying it to a hobby that I love has been a really exciting endeavor.
That's amazing. Your background is so unique too, from going from the art world to, like you said, the crazy world of motorsport. So I guess how did you get into Formula One, and how did you get into motorsport in general?
Yeah, absolutely. So a friend of mine actually was suggesting, oh, was talking about going to the race in Montreal, and I thought, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. Like, I don't really get it. And so then they were telling me about just how many races there were in the season, how they get from point A to point B, and I love operations, I love logistics, and that was what first excited me. So, DHL, if you'd like to sponsor me, that'd be amazing. Um, but it was really, I just went down kind of a deep dive of learning about how they get the cars and the teams from point A to point B. And then it really evolved from there. And then, of course, Drive to Survive started airing on Netflix, and I would sheepishly watch it on my iPhone at Equinox when I was on the treadmill. I'm like, don't watch me watch my silly little car show here.
Yeah.
And then it became a little bit more popular, more mainstream, at least colloquially in America. And it just kind of took off from there. And now that I live in Europe, being able to access the races a little bit more easily, and then also having a partner that is open to spending Sunday watching cars go around, has been helpful as well.
Yeah,
Here we are.
definitely. That's I feel like that's mandatory now. Sundays are
Yeah,
F1 days only.
exactly. I was like, we are subjected to so many weeks of football season. It's coming to a close.
Yeah, gotta even it out. And then now
Absolutely.
that it's coming to a close, you're gonna have to fill your weekend somehow. So it lines up perfectly.
Exactly.
Yeah. How long after you kind of started getting into F1 did you start off to the races?
So I've been a fan of Formula One for about the past 5 or 6 years, and Off to the Races was born earlier this year, and kind of, as I said, as a result of my own experience at the track and doing my own research of trying to go and attend races and seeing a gap in the market and really seeing all these amazing people and fans online really kind of craving this shared experience, and that there weren't ticket and service providers that were specifically speaking to that market.
Yeah, that's incredible. You're definitely filling that gap, and it's much needed in this industry. And motorsport's so kind of luxurious and exclusive, anyways. So it's just, yeah, you've definitely found a way to kind of hone in on the female aspect of that and making it a fun, luxurious sporting event, which is just amazing. Like, it sounds
Yeah.
so much fun.
No, the way I like to describe an Off to the Races weekend is that it'll have the look and feel of an amazing brand trip, but the vibe of the best destination wedding you've ever went to. I got married in Croatia about 2 years ago, and we did a week long wedding on an island. And I think the best part of the wedding, besides the boat deck, was, and of course getting married too. That was great.
Of course, naturally.
Um, it was great.
Yeah.
Was just seeing how all of our friends were able to get to know each other and make friends with each other, and really see relationships form out of that shared group experience. And I really wanted to kind of bring that same atmosphere to this weekend trip, where people who don't know each other but have a shared goal or a shared interest can come together and make new friends. And hopefully, maybe if this is you're coming as a solo traveler for this race, that might be the last race you are a solo traveler for, because you've now met new friends that you can travel around the world with and share this amazing sport with.
I love that. And I feel like races already are a great place to meet people too, because there are so many people that go alone, but people get nervous and you don't know where to do things or where to find like chat groups or something. So even just
Mm-hmm.
having that kind of community to go and experience everything for the first time with together is amazing. Like, I know when I went, I met these two guys who actually lived in Kingston, Ontario, and we were in
Oh,
Imola,
amazing.
which was wild. And we don't keep in touch anymore, but we did for a little while. And like, I'll always just think of them when I think of that race experience. Like, the people do make the experience. So I feel like you are really kind of enhancing that aspect for people.
Well, that's why I love FanAmp. I think FanAmp is a great way to connect with people, connect with other fans, not only at races, but also throughout the year. And it really is, I think, one of the amazing parts of being a Formula One fan is that global audience where you can travel to Imola and meet someone who's literally from your hometown,
Yeah.
which is kind of amazing. And we really look forward to kind of engaging with other fans through FanAmp, because it's such an amazing platform where you can see everything, all of the information condensed into one. And I'm sure for you, if you're in Singapore right now, I feel like you wake up and the news cycle has already happened. So it's super helpful to open up the app and see just kind of in a chronological order, like what's going on, what's the news, what's the tea,
Yeah.
without being too overwhelmed. And then I love kind of having the different breakout chat rooms where you can follow along with your favorite podcasters and content creators and really kind of keep those conversations going outside of their regular news cycle.
That's great. Well, we love to hear that. I guess what could your audience kind of expect from this partnership? So what will we be doing together for Off to the Races
Well,
and FanAmp?
so I'm really excited to be working with FanAmp on a couple different things. One, as you know, my passion is travel. While we can't bring Off to the Races to every race this year, it's something that we aim to do in the future. But in the meantime, we are working on curating our off the track travel guides. So FanAmp will have all the information you need to expect what to expect when you're at the circuit, how to get your tickets, how to get to the circuit, etc. But I'll be offering some suggestions of what to do either when you're traveling to the cities for those races, or if you have a little bit of downtime, or how to plan your itinerary around those races. So I'm really excited to be sharing those travel guides, and it's been really fun for me to learn so much about all these amazing cities on the circuit. I Every time I work on a travel guide, I'm convinced I need to go to that race now.
Yes,
So if anyone would like to fund that, that'd be great. Um,
DHL.
Exactly, DHL. So really looking forward to sharing those travel guides, and then really looking forward to using FanAmp to communicate with our travelers. I think Caitlin had mentioned that she was at a race earlier this year and that there was no cell service and nothing was working, but she was able to open up the FanAmp app and be able to find maps for the race course and kind of get her bearings to figure out where she needed to go. So really excited to have that as a tool and a resource for our travelers when they're coming to our races, and then also for them to kind of communicate amongst each other in the lead up to the race. I think, like I was saying, getting ready before going out is the best part of the night. But I think the girls' chat before the trip is also a very important part of the trip. Quintessential trip experience. So, what are you packing? Where are you wearing? What time? When is your flight getting in? Should we add extra days? Really excited to have FanAmp as a resource and a space for everyone to meet before the race and to start building those relationships before they even get to the city that we're heading to.
Oh, that's going to be so exciting. I feel like this is an unpopular opinion, but I love being a part of group chats where I haven't even met the people yet. Like coming to school or joining a club when you get added in and then everyone is talking like they're already best friends. Then you finally meet those people and you already have that base connection. So I think, yeah, getting that kind of going on FanAmp will be super exciting for us and very exciting for you. And I love kind of stalking all the chats and hearing people be like, I'm going to be here at this time. Like, text me when you're here. I can't wait to meet you. And then we'll get a couple selfies and stuff. It's honestly the best part of, I feel like, the app and the community. As you kind of mentioned, you can't do every race this year, obviously, but hopefully soon in the future. But I was kind of wondering what else you have lined up for 2024. I know that you just did a launch party. Do you have any more launch parties coming up? And what did that kind of look like for you?
Yeah, so we did a launch party earlier this October to celebrate the launch of Off to the Races, and we held a dinner at one of my favorite restaurants here in Barcelona that actually has a racing theme. So it was very perfect,
Very.
and so we were able to invite just some of our local supporters and friends who also love motorsport. The dress code theme was Elevated Race Day, and people really showed up. So I was very impressed. So it's just really fun to kick off to the races and for people to start to get an idea of what the look and feel of an off to the races event is. So our next big thing will be going to the Spanish Grand Prix in June. So that'll be our first race weekend. We also have plans to go to Silverstone, the Dutch Grand Prix, and then we'll be doing a 4-day itinerary for the Mexico Grand Prix later this fall. So that's sort of the schedule for this year, but everything can change. As we know, the Formula One season is long. So if there's interest, we are very keen to add on some dates to races in the Middle East. And hopefully next year, really kind of spread our wings and head to some of the races over in Asia.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'm trying to see if I can get to the Japanese Grand Prix this year, but I feel like I need you because I have no idea what I'm doing for that.
Well,
So
let me tell you, I am like, if I wasn't busy that weekend, I would be going because it seems like a phenomenal race to go to. And, Japan is known for their logistics, so easy to get around and so many amazing things to see in the city.
one day we'll go together.
We will make it happen.
Yes. Do you have a race that you're kind of most looking forward to this year? One that either you're kind of planning an event for or just one to watch?
Well,
Or both?
I'm like, I think what's exciting about our program is that there's an element for every weekend that I'm particularly excited about. I think for Barcelona, what during the Spanish GP weekend is also during a major holiday here in Barcelona, which is essentially, think of it, it's like a summer solstice kind of party. So the GP ends on Sunday, and then that night kicks off an all night party here in Barcelona, celebrating the shortest night of the year. So they have fireworks all over the city, all over the beach. I think that's just a really amazing cultural event that people get to experience, in addition to an amazing weekend of racing. So excited for people to experience that. For the Dutch Grand Prix, I love Amsterdam. I just got back from Amsterdam, and I'm really looking forward to their VIP hospitality. I've heard nothing but amazing things about the track experience there. And Amsterdam is known for their very easy transport, great logistics, and also it's a beautiful city. So really excited to bring the group there. And then for Mexico City, I love Mexico City, but
Yeah.
if you haven't been to Mexico City, you must go to Contramar, which is one of my favorite restaurants in the world. So we'll be doing lunch there one of the days before going to the Frida Kahlo Museum. And I'm just excited to see the GP there. I've only heard amazing things. Our seats are in the Foro Sol, so we're going to get that true Mexico GP experience. And if
That's
I don't get someone in a sombrero on the podium stand, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I will be too. I'll be thinking of you when that's going on. Fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's very exciting too that you'll get to kind of experience the Mexican Grand Prix for a first time with almost everyone else that will be joining you as a first timer. Like
Yeah,
that's a very special experience.
yeah, for sure. Yes.
If you could plan any race weekend experience with no budget, what would it look like? The most kind of, I guess, extravagant thing that you could ever do that seems so out of reach, but you were able to do it. Do you have one in mind?
Oh, of course. I'm so glad you asked.
Good.
This is my Roman Empire. So I actually have two answers. So the
Okay.
first one is going to seem a little on the nose. I obviously would love to go to the Monaco Grand Prix. I just got back from spending a little weekend in Monaco, and of course, it's absolutely fabulous. But the way I would sort out my Monaco Grand Prix weekend is I would probably stay somewhere else. I would not stay in Monaco. I'd probably stay in Cannes or Nice. And then we'd have the helicopter, of course, take me to Monaco, naturally. And we can either land at the heliport, or we could land on another boat and then be tendered into the marina. And then I can join a party on a boat,
Mhm.
um, just so we have options. And then that evening, we'll go to a fabulous party at night. But it's really, there must be a yacht involved. There must be light colored linen clothing, champagne, of course, and excellent lighting. We just need really great, that great south of France lighting. So that's kind of the halo. That's on the vision board. But the other kind of dream scenario also involves a boat, just because I think it's hilarious. I would love to go to the Miami GP and sit on one of those ridiculous boats that are in the middle of the parking lot. I
That
just
is a
re-
great answer.
I really love Miami's commitment to the bit. Like how they said, we've got boats, but we've only got a parking lot. They said Abu Dhabi's got boats. They said Monaco's got boats. We're like, no, we are boat people. You know what? I would like to be on one of those boats in the parking lot.
I would love that for you too. That
Thank you.
definitely was not an answer that would have come to my mind. So I love that story going with that.
Anyways, I'll see you in the parking lot of the Hard Rock, the Hard Rock Stadium.
I'll be there. That's awesome. Do you have a specific team or driver that you support, or are you pretty neutral or not?
So, living in Spain and my husband being Italian, I have unfortunately pledged allegiance to Ferrari.
Oh, oh,
So, you know what, it was part of the deal of moving to Europe. I'm able to get Italian citizenship, but you do have to make some concessions. So here we are. So it is a Ferrari household. We are a Carlos Sainz household. However, I do really enjoy Oscar Piastri. So I'm excited to see his development and see him grow in his role and his position. He's a lot of fun to watch.
do you think
Absolutely.
he'll get a first Grand Prix win before Lando, or do you think Lando will take it?
Ooh, I don't know. That's that. I'm like, that's a good question. I was like, I think he's got a little spunk in him. I feel like he'll get a win, but I think the circumstances might be a little weird. Like,
Yeah.
I think it'll get a win, but I feel like he won't feel like he has earned it.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
It's sort of like there'll be something weird. There will be rain. There will be some sort of malfunction. Something's gonna happen. And so he would have gotten like second or third, but because of a technicality,
Yeah,
wins, and then it becomes a whole storyline.
I like that. It kind of is very reminiscent of Daniel Ricciardo's win in Monza. I hate to
Hmm.
say it for the Danny
Exactly.
Ric fans, you know? It depends how you look at it. It depends how you look at it.
Hmm.
But yes,
Yeah.
I
No,
like
I
that.
used to be. I think everyone, or not everyone. I can't speak for all fans. Not all fans. I can't speak for all fans, but I think so I've had a few driver sightings in my lifetime.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure that Charles is stalking me at this point.
He is for sure.
Um, I'm like, why are you in Paris when I'm in Paris? Why are you in Monaco when I'm in Monaco? Even though you live there, but still. So I've seen Charles a few times, but the one time that I got truly starstruck, I was in Texas, and this was before I was a full-on fan. I was like a passive fan at this particular time. And I was already in Texas for work, and I was flying out of Austin the same weekend as the Grand Prix. And it was that Monday, and I had gone on a week-long trip, and I just wanted to get my Salt Lick barbecue and get out of there and get back home. And so there I am, like eating barbecue in the middle of the airport, and here walks by this person. I'm like, you look particularly familiar. And you are wearing a Gucci backpack that I think only a certain type of person would wear. I was like, I think, oh, it is. And I was like, oh, do I follow him to the Sky Lounge? I'm like, no, don't be weird. Don't be weird. So I just stood there and like shoveled the barbecue in my face while I saw Daniel Ricciardo walk by me. I was like,
Wow.
cool. Be cool.
Yeah, be cool. I
Be
feel
cool.
like that is the best way to see Daniel Ricciardo though. In Austin, eating barbecue. He probably fell in love and you don't even know it.
It's true. It's true. So missed opportunities, missed connections.
Yeah, missed connections. My dad is skiing right now and he saw
Oh,
Lance
amazing.
roll and my sister got like a picture of him with Lance in the back, like a sneak pic with my dad and he's kind of like
I love it.
pointing. And I'm talking to my
So,
dad and I'm like, oh my God, like you saw Lance, that's so cool. He's like, yeah, I was trying to get his attention. I was like, Lance, Lance. Lance is fully ignoring him. So my dad
yeah.
proceeds to go up, tap him on the shoulder, and goes, my daughter's a really big fan. And Lance is
You
like,
know what? I'm sure he doesn't hear that a lot. So
well, I mean, technically my dad lied, but anyways,
he doesn't need to know that.
Lance doesn't know that. And then he basically put on his ski stuff and skied down to his helipad and flew off with his dad, basically.
I, I love
So,
it. I love it. I find it so incredible that the drivers are allowed to participate in like extreme sports like skiing. I'm like, what's the insurance policy on this?
I know, and Charles, like, ice climbing some glacier, like, what?
Yeah. I need to, and it's like, okay, the golf thing, I understand. Like paddle, sure. No one's gonna like, this is not a contact sport, but like skiing,
Yeah,
so much can go wrong.
definitely. Well, if I was Lance, I'd be terrified because of his injury last year, and now
Oh
he's
yeah, the hands.
like, yeah, the hands. I feel like skiing
It's like,
has a way higher probability of injury than cycling does.
yeah, I was like, sir, if you can't do the outdoor cycling, do not level up to the skiing.
I know. Yeah, I was thinking
Oh
the
my
exact
goodness.
same thing. I know the
Ugh.
drivers; they can't sit still. They got to showcase
And, like the
their other talents.
kids these days, I like oftentimes forget that they're quite literally like 22 years old.
I know, like they're my age. That's crazy.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like, I have things in my closet older than you. Cool. Um,
Oh, that's hilarious. Um, I guess the last thing would just be where could people find you?
So it's really easy to find us. We are obviously on Instagram and TikTok, but to find all of our itineraries, find out our pricing, and to answer any of our frequently asked questions, just head to our website. Everything's there. It has all the information you need. And also feel free to set up an appointment, set up a Zoom, set up a call. Always happy to chat and walk you through any questions you have. Really excited to welcome people this summer and just want to make sure that you have everything you need when you're planning out your race weekend this year.
That's great. And on behalf of FanAmp, we are so excited to have you on board, and we can't wait for everything that's coming this year for you. It's going to be a jam-packed but really exciting year, and we can't wait to be a part of that and watch you grow. So thank you so much for your time.
Great.
And
Thank you, Logan. This was so fun.
thank you. Good, I'm glad.